So this is the updated AMG GT S, and if you're anything like me, I know what you're thinking. Wait a second, isn't the AMG GT still new? Well, no. In actual fact, it's almost 3 years old, which goes to show you just how much this car has set itself apart. It still feels as fresh now as it did when it first launched. But nevertheless, AMG has made some revisions, and that seemed like a pretty good reason to go and drive one again.
So what's changed? Well, up front, the GTS now sports AMG's signature Panamericana grille in tribute to Benz's iconic race cars. The front bumper gets a light restyle as well, but it's otherwise the same dramatic silhouette we've come to love, with its low, long bonnet and imposing road presence. This finely finished interior is a beautiful place to be, though the infotainment is starting to look a little last gen when compared to the gorgeous panoramic displays and cutting-edge tech in the current E-Class and S-Class. Under the bonnet, AMG's hand-built twin-turbo V8 has had a slight performance bump, up 9 kilowatts to 384 and up 20 newton meters to 670. They are stout figures that take it to 100 kilometers an hour from standstill in 3.8 seconds. The GTS has proven to be more than just a boulevard cruiser, but in the midst of strengthened competition, does it still impress today like it has in the past?
First, the obvious stuff out of the way. This is a front-engine, rear-wheel drive, two-seater sports car, so it's very focused in that it is all about the driver. You've got this low-slung seating position, which is actually really adjustable. You can get the steering wheel and the seat in exactly the right place in terms of their relationship to the pedal. It feels really natural to sit in and to drive quickly. And this car is competing with things like the Porsche 911, which is a clinically brilliant performance car. The GT takes a slightly different approach, and in that regard, they're not exactly direct rivals at all. The GT is much more about theatre and drama, and just making you smile, whether you're absolutely nailing an apex or not.
Which brings us to that thumping, riotous 4-litre V8 up front. That is, for all intents and purposes, the centrepiece of the AMG GTS.
AMG uses it to great effect in a lot of its other performance cars like the C63 and E63, but there's something about its application in this car that is just so special. And to fire it up and hear that exhaust roar, you really get a sense of what this car is all about.
This AMG is not the cosseting, waft-along sort of Grand Tourer that you may expect, given its pedigree and GT name. There's a hardened attitude to the way it goes down a road that lets you know it's eyeing off that curvy bit of tarmac up ahead.
So the dampers have 3 modes: Comfort, Sport and Sport Plus. Now none of those modes are particularly soft. What you will find is that you'll spend most of the time with the dampers in Comfort, even if you have your drive mode dial turned up to Sport or Sport Plus, which is really where the AMG GTS is at its best. It just makes the car a bit more fun.
The GTS is a sports car to its core, and the resolute ride is in some ways part of its demeanour, though it does get tiresome over really long distances.
There's also quite a lot of road noise. You can mute the exhaust, and that's pretty successful. That's not really invasive at all, but the tyres do roar, especially on coarse-chipped surfaces. The way the steering weights up is really encouraging when you turn this thing into Sport and Sport Plus. In Comfort, it is just a little bit too light and lacking in tactility. It's not as pinpoint precise as you get in a 911, but it's effective, it's fast, and you certainly know exactly where the front end is. There's plenty of accuracy. Now, there are obvious comparisons that will be drawn between this and the SLS, which it kind of unofficially replaces. They were both designed by the same person, but this car is a lot smaller. It's shorter than a C-Class.
You get the feeling that AMG is particularly proud for its fully in-house developed and built GT family. The GTS nails the emotional criteria for a sports car. It looks spectacular, it sounds ferocious, and it's perfect for when you want to be seen. The sense of occasion that comes with this car is arguably greater than an equivalent 911, and it feels special whether you've found a road where you can fully let the animal off the leash or you're just out for a Sunday cruise.